Hi guys, my name is Mode. Soro. Okay, our name is Moa, and together we are Mode and Moa. And welcome to our eighth episode. I can't remember how many episodes now, but welcome to our vlog. Pam 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 pam. It's hot. It's hot this afternoon, and the grid is down. And again, I am shooting this vlog by myself because of circumstances beyond our control. Moa couldn't be here. She's better, even though none of you asked how she's faring, but she's better now. Today we're talking about something very personal. Today's topic is very straight direct. What the flip is that? Today's topic is very straightforward, and the topic for today's vlog is my twin thinks I am abusive. Let's talk about it. This is iced coffee, by the way. It's so hot. The ice. It's melt. You can hear. There's no clink clink clink. So let me. This started many years ago, and then on a Friday, November 18th, 11:58 and 12:01 respectively. I came out 12:01 p.m. and since then, people have always called us Ejire twins, yada 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 yada. And one way or the other, our destiny, our fate was sealed together, right? And I would say our fight started when Moa refused to come out of the room. You know, and she just wouldn't come out, and I'm pretty sure I kicked her, but she wouldn't just come out. Eventually, she did, and Yabiji became a thing. Fast forward to a year later, when it was time for us to start working, allegedly, and what's that other word? Allegedly, no. Allegedly, it was said that I started working first, and each time Moa wanted to walk, I kind of pulled her down and stood up. So I guess that's when the fight started, and that's when I started abusing Moa, when I started doing things before she did. Yesterday, Moa and I had a fight in which she called me abusive, and she said she didn't want to be my friend again. I laughed because I'm like, why are you so dramatic? If I can count how many things you've done to me that I would say I don't want to be your friend again, the list will be endless. And I'm very sure vice versa. But the difference between me and Moa is that I can be a bit more aggressive. Yeah, it's not on purpose. But I think that there's a certain way that I behave that makes Moa think thinks that I am abusive. And those are the things that we're going to get into now. And then at the end of this video, you're going to have to tell me if I am indeed aggressive or abusive, or Moa is just a tad bit dramatic and can honestly do better. Number one, I am impatient with her. I'm not going to lie. I can be very impatient with Moa when it comes to mostly everything that we do. And that's because I always feel like if we drag our feet, we would not end up like doing it, or then there's a certain way that we're supposed to do certain things, and she's just taking her sweet time. Honestly, she's just being very Moa about it. So what do I mean by being Moa about it? Moa generally is very laid back. Her personality is very calm and laid back. I'm not saying that she cannot be, but she's very. So Moa can also be mean to you by being laid back, right? So Moa's personality is laid back, and I pretty much find it very annoying sometimes. Let's take for example, this is our vlog. Until she spelled it out to me one day that, oh, She has the 9 to 5 that she does Monday to Friday. She's doing her MBA. The times for us to record our vlogs very limited and very slim. I didn't get it. Do you understand? And the reason why I didn't get it was that, you know what? Just dedicate an hour or two. Let's get this video out of the way, and then you can go ahead with your sweet time. And she's like, oh Mode, you don't get it, this and that, and I didn't get it. And I really didn't want to get it, because I'm like, this was the decision that we both made, that we wanted to do. We knew it was going to be hard work. I factored into it that when I'm on set, how we're going to do it, that means we have to like have pre-recorded. We've not been able to even pre-record, so most of the content that we turn out for you guys, we record them like a day or two before. So it's not like we have like kept. And if I'm going on set, I know the last time I went on set was a Wednesday, and we was a Tuesday, and we usually drop on Wednesdays. I had to stay up through the night to edit the entire thing, and then because I wasn't going with my laptop, schedule it and trying to put it on YouTube and schedule it and do like, I use Canva to do, what's the word now, the thumbnail, everything. I just had to like quickly shuffle it inside that very short hour, and I did that. So there are instances that I have been impatient with Moa that causes us to like fight. For example, doing the dishes. Moa wants to do the dishes at a certain time. I'm like, oh, that time that you want to do this dish now, you could have like ants or insects, creeping up. And I'm not even necessarily like the cleanest, but I always want her to be like, oh yes, let me just see like the fight that we had yesterday. So we went to Yaba to pick up something that I wanted to drop off for my mom at the park. And my mom was at the park, and then the park she was taking a return. There's this new thing for all of you traveling to, if you want to travel to Ibadan, it's at Ojota BRT terminal. So it's like an Oyo State Omitutun bus, right? They go by 7, 10, 1 and 4. I can't remember. 7, 10, 1 and 4, 7, 10, 12 and 4. And she came with the 7 o'clock bus to go back by 10. And by the time I checked the time, it was already like past 9 for us to get from Yaba to her side. So Moa comes, and she had what she wants to get at Yaba. She had like the item in her hand, and because we're already pressed for time, she kind of first opens the car door at the back, then drops the item, then enters the front to sit. And then I go, can you not enter the car and sit down, and then you can drop this thing at the back? And then we go into a screaming match at each other. She's screaming, and I did something very silly, and I wound down the glass so that her voice can really carry since she wants to scream. And I was also shouting, right? But I wasn't shouting as much as Moa. And she started saying some things that I found genuinely funny. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, you're very abusive, yada yada, that how many minutes or how many seconds? And I'm like, every second counts, Moa. We could meet anything on the way, and the car is going to leave. Does it make sense for our mother to come all the way to Lagos for an item that was supposed to give it to her, and she goes back without it? That's what I saw. I didn't see any other thing that she was seeing. So we had that argument, yada yada yada. And then I kind of, in a rare moment, and I'm not even saying that to be very somehow, but I kind of apologized. And when I even apologized, I was thinking in my head I wasn't going to, but I just felt like this is not worth it, and I'm like, oh, sorry. And then we moved on. But before then, she had already gone. And the day before, we had gone swimming, and the coach goes, you guys are twins. And I'm like, duh. It was like, oh, you always assume that I was the older person because of the way that I always speak to her. And then Moa held on to that. I'm like, how do I speak to you? For example, we go into the pool, Moa wants to do an exercise, and she goes, she's afraid. I'm like, girl, get over it. You're afraid. But I promise that you cannot drown. Things like that. When I'm trying to like, you can't do it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But then to Moa, that meant she was abusive. And that meant I was abusive. One more excuse. One thing that I did. So I woke up yesterday, and she already soaked like her whites into a bucket. And that bucket, we don't soak things inside. We've never done. It's a clean bucket. And then she soaks, and I'm like, oh, the soap is. And I wake up and I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, the soap is going to damage the bucket. Why, you shouldn't have done that. And then she was like, oh, she didn't know. Yeah, and I'm like, and then she switches it out. And she's like, is that why you're shouting? You could have just easily said that. And in my head, I go, I shouldn't have to have told you that. It's a very clean bucket. We've never used it. Why should I be the one in charge of saying what we're supposed to use or what we're supposed to use? It's a 50-50 partnership. You're supposed to know better. So yeah, I am impatient to Noah, and that's one of the things that makes me very abusive, in quotes, to my twin sister. Number 2, I don't like Moa hugging me or touching me. And it's not even because of her or anything. I I just don't like being touched, like putting your hands on my shoulder, holding my hand. I don't like it. And I feel like at this point, when me and Mowa we've reached, we're supposed to accept each other. I know Mowa likes hugging me, and for each time that she does it, I swap her hand away. But you know what I don't do? I don't get upset for Mowa trying to hug me or hold my hand, because I know that's what she likes. It's nature. It's secondary to her. It's her nature, so to speak. But the Mowa just get upset that I don't like being hugged. And I'm like, girl, at this point, if you don't know this, I cannot help you. But then again, I give in. Some days I give in, right? I give in and I let her hug me. I let her put her head on my shoulder, and she complains about her day and whatnot. And I never get upset for Moa wanting to do that. But Moa kind of gets upset at me for not liking it, which is weird, because she thinks her way is the natural way, is the natural thing. I should like to be hugged. I should like to be held on to and say, oh Moa. And I do, but I just don't like it often. So that makes me abusive to my sister. Reason number 3, I am abusive to Moa because apparently she cannot be vulnerable with me. Simply because many moons ago, when we were young and our teenage years, Moa fell in love with a boy. Classic Romeo and Juliet situation. She fell in love with a boy that I didn't like. And not because I had a problem with the guy. Frankly, I was very indifferent. I just felt like she could do better. But you know what's funny? I never spoke out negatively towards the boy. I was very kind to the guy. And Moa still held on to some sort of, oh, Mode, you never liked anybody that I've dated. And I'm like, girl, give me an instance right now. I want you to give me an instance right now. And if you mention that first guy, I want you to even give me an instance where I was very unpleasant to him, to his face. Most of the time, I think Moa's idea of me is what she carries, because she couldn't find me an instance where I did something like that. Because the other people she had dated along the line, even though questionable, I raised my brow, but I never actually went out of my way to see anything or do anything. Sometimes I think Moa needs to be protected from herself, because, and I do say so myself, I am very self-aware, and I can be very honest with myself. So, for example, let's say I'm with somebody, and I look at the person, I'm like, I shouldn't be with this person. But you know what? I like how I'm feeling at the moment, so I'm going to go with it. Now, if 10 or 2 other people come and meet me and say, this person shouldn't be with you, I'm not going to get defensive. Like, you're not going to insult him, but I'm not going to get defensive. Like, oh, it's my choice. I can probably just say that, yeah, I know. But I like how this person is making me feel at the moment, and I'm going to roll with it. Do you understand? That, which was why when I was even much younger. Now I have like less patience for it. And if I could have it any other way, I'm not going to change anything. So yeah, I go, I'm like, I get it. But Moa has that. In fact, she might not be aware, and even if she's aware, she still doesn't want anybody to talk about it. Anybody in this case being me. So I'm like, you know what? Can you just deal with this narrative? I'm not this person that you think you are. You can't be vulnerable with me. You are the one that choose not to be vulnerable with me, because I most likely will tell you something that is the truth, but you don't want to hear. And then she goes ahead and says, and there's a way I say it. And I'm like, girl, I'm going to tell you anything about anybody that I'm going to be with. And I don't care how you say it. You are my twin sister. Who else am I supposed to be like 100% honest to, or should be 100% honest with me back? So I don't have a problem with that with Moa. I'm just going to outright come and tell her this. You can say whatever you choose to say. I'm not going to be offended. But then again, she gets offended. And I'm like, okay. However, still give me an instance I have done this thing to you. And then she just thinks about it. But there's something apparently about my vibe that doesn't make her vulnerable to me, which is untrue, because people tell me stuff. Because I don't judge. I'm not judgmental. I can't be, but if you tell me your situation, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you did that. I'm going to be like soft. And then I think about it if it was done to me. And time again, life has proven to me that you think you cannot do it. You will do it, badi. So, reason number 4, right? Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I've always felt like I've had to be tough for both of us. And why is here now? She's watching. She's not saying anything because she knows I'm right. Duh. But I've always felt like I had to be tough for both of us, because it's an unspoken rule, or rather, when maybe you have like plenty children, and everyone just assumes like a role that they're supposed to take. I've always assumed that I've always had to be tough for me and Moa, because Moa is out there, she's extroverted, she's fun, but I've always felt like I had to be the one that was tough for both of us. Why do I think I have to be tough enough or tough for both of us? I don't know. I just always felt like I had this protective instinct, towards Moa. So I always felt like, oh, I had to be like, so that you can know that dada ole jao, but so sometimes is the idea of Mode has a mean streak, or Mode is rude, Mode is not nice. So people don't chat shit to me, so they know that if push comes to shove, Mode is going to get involved. So I just kind of always felt like I had to be very tough for both of us and make like the tough decisions that otherwise wouldn't want to be made. And I think there's a part of her that does like that. That means she doesn't have to be like involved in a lot of like emotionally grappling things, and that's fine. I've assumed that role, and if that's what makes me abusive to Moa, I don't. Omo, that's unfair. That's really unfair, because I feel like I'm doing this for both of us, right? I'm this way because you are that way, right? So yeah, I guess because I've always had to be tough for both of us, so I think sometimes it spreads into my interaction with her, where I'm always trying to tell her that snap out of her, don't do that, no. And I always ask her like tough questions. Okay, so why are you doing that? Are you aware that you're doing that and it does not matter? And she doesn't want that, so we always have like that back and forth. Yeah. So reason number 5, right? Reason number 5. I'm the middle child. I was nobody's favorite growing up, so I kind of had to like just be. So yeah, middle child. That's it. It makes sense to me. Because it makes sense to me. That's what I'm gonna say about that. 6, I like things done my way. God, you cannot hear, but the off generator. I be not today. Hold on. There's power. Hit one, kill me. So yeah. What was I saying? I've forgotten the reason which number is that. Should be reason number 6 or so. Let me drink this thing to wet my throat. And that's I tied it up earlier with I'm impatient, and that is that I like things done my way. In this household, things are either done my way or no way at all. I don't know how I got that way, but that's how I am. Again, I also got to tie it up to living Moa, kind of a part of her, just honestly, she might choose not to like agree with it, but there's a part of Moa that kind of likes living like the nitty gritty to me, right? Or clean up, wash the dishes. The only thing I hate really doing is getting petrol and getting fuel. I really hate going to the filling station to the queue, right? So I feel like there's a part of Moa that likes that. Oh, Mode will sort it out, Jare. Mode will do this, Mode will do that. So yeah, I honestly feel like, and I'm sure if she was talking, which she has chosen not to do, if she was talking, she probably would have told you that, she probably would have countered me. But now that she's not saying anything, I love it. I love it. So if I'm being honest, can I be better? Yes, I can be absolutely better, right? And I know that sometimes there's a way that I respond to her, or there's a way that I talk to her that honestly can be very unkind and not nice. And yes, she does apologize than I do. And I honestly feel like I can be better at communicating my feelings more. I really honestly can be. And I honestly hope to get better. Right? but I'm not abusive. With all these few points that I've listed to you guys, do I come across as abusive, or Moa is just being dramatic? And if me downplaying her thoughts about me, does that still make me You know what? Let me know in the comment section if you think that I am abusive or I've been abusive to Moa or towards Moa. Then honestly, I will try my best and do better. But I honestly also think Moa can do better. I think that's all that I have to say today. And let me know in the comment section, like I said, I'm abusive towards my sister. And yes, thank you very much for following us on this journey. We've been at it since December last year. The subscribership is not going as high as we really want it to be, but with me and Moa, things don't usually just go up for us one time. It usually takes its time, and I mean, it's good to acknowledge that we know the type of person you are, and we honestly hope that our channel keeps increasing and keeps getting subscribership, and people subscribe, enjoy what we turn out. It can only get better. I just also want you to know that Moa isn't like gonna be always, her plate is very, very full at the moment, and that's how I'm extending her grace. And now she'll say I'm abusive. That's abusive to say. But yeah, I'm extending her the grace because she sometimes just to rest. For example, she had like a test. She had one of her tests yesterday. She's doing her MBA, if I've not said that. So time doesn't exist for her. So I have given her grace, and that is why I took a sit back and I'm like, you know what? You drive this ship. Let's work with you, right? So we have started working with Noah, and I don't have a problem doing this alone, as long as you people like had there. You people had there. I really apologize. As long as you people are there for us, it makes everything worth it. So you guys, please don't forget. Voila, wow. So you guys, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment on our vlog. Please, 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 we're begging you. And I finished this entire vlog without finishing iced coffee. Super delicious, no longer icy. I think this glass is fake because they wrote ice cold drink. Go to tomorrow. How many minutes more for you just see there? I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, let me know in the comment section. Thank you and have a wonderful week. Thank you and have a wonderful week. Bye.